what do you think makes like a memory something that you actually remember? Because you don't remember every single second of the day. Or I guess some people do. There's like those exceptions.
That's different though.
That is different.
In a
But
general case.
yeah, what I mean, yeah, exactly. What I mean is, if you think about last week, you have images in your head of things that you did, that you were in class or whatever, but why do you see those particular images and not other parts of the day?
So many times, like, you can't even, like, you're like, what did I eat yesterday? You forget, but you sometimes remember what you did 2 weeks ago. Such a similar situation. Food for thought. Because a memory, how is that defined? Like, is basically the root of the question, right?
And how do you...
Like, or a lasting
memory. But I guess those do fade away because there are, like, different categories of memories.
Because if we get, like, emotion into it, like, you know, that sometimes can dictate, like, the whole thing.
That
like,
plays into it for sure.
A divorce, for example, I don't think anybody will ever, you know, I'm just giving something off the top of my head. But in that scenario, you know what I mean? That memory is not going to fade away because it has an emotional impact too. So I think it's also how it's received,
but
mainly
also
by the host.
Some days I'll be in my room and I'll think, like, this moment right now, I'm just going to make an effort to remember it exactly how it is.
Does that work?
Yeah, it does. For sure. Sometimes. Of course, I don't remember every single time.
Because there are so many times when, you know, you're like, someone will tell you, hey, memorize this number for me real quick.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I will definitely remember it.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's my life's goal to now remember it.
Yeah.
But an hour, 2 hours later, it's gone. Right? So even sometimes if you want to, it doesn't always work.
But it's not about wanting. It's what yeah, no, you're right. But
You know what I mean?
But I think, like, the images that you have in your head and the specific feelings related to just being alive at a certain moment and all your senses being recorded at once. And also, it isn't just what you see, what you smell, and what you taste and what you hear will remind you of things.
That's valid. All things, because that all roots down in the question of, again, what is it that you value sometimes too.
But also, yeah, it is what you value, but not entirely, because if it was just what you value, I feel like you would remember a lot more, because you value a lot of things. But
that's actually really true.
Do you remember?
That's really true.
Absolutely,
you value a lot
everything?
of things, but you don't.
I find I forget a lot of things. Like, how much do you think? And why does your brain take that particular, like, snapshot of your day, of the present?
Not even necessarily. Like, sometimes you can also remember feelings. You know, it's not always like something visual. Like, it's always. Yeah. It's just your mind's way of, I think, bringing something back. But usually it also gets triggered by something, you know, like that's also a curious thing. Why do memories get triggered at certain times? Because the whole idea of, because sometimes you're like, hey, let me reminisce, let me go back to the good old days, stuff like that. And then it might be here and there. But sometimes
it comes
out of the blue,
just like that.
You're just like working on your day, like, oh, that time that was so crazy. Like, why?
I have no. It's
why does that happen?
That's true. Like, the most random memories come up at the most random times, and you're like, I'll be walking. This happened to me today. I had this memory in my head. I'm not gonna say what it is, but just because it's very specific.
Don't worry about that.
No. It's what I was gonna say is that it's a weird memory. And it just came into my head while I was walking down the street. You know? And
such a weird.
But the fact that we're even questioning this process is so like complex. You know what I mean?
I mean, we talk about this so much, but the whole root of science is literally in what we're doing right now.
No.
What you and me are just throwing around as, why does this happen? Is literally how, I'm assuming.
How does this happen?
Or, well, how, but
I think how is...
You think how is more important?
I think how is the...
No, you think how?
I think how. For sure. Definitely. How? That's the first question. Because
I don't know if that's true.
I think how
really
is
think
first.
How is the first question? Because like, that's an interesting question that we're coming up to. But why, or how?
I think how. I think how.
You think so?
For sure. Here's why I think how. The reason is because, I was gonna say in my quantum class, my professor, he always talks about this quote from Feynman. And he says that the universe is just like a chessboard and you're watching grandmasters play chess. And you're just living on the chessboard trying to figure out the rules. You're just trying to figure out because
I've heard of that quote.
Because why can the horses jump over pieces and move in L's and other pieces? They're just arbitrary rules that you have to learn. And then if you predict that a piece will move one way and it just doesn't, then you're wrong. You're just wrong. And so the reason I think how is the first question is because the universe operates in a way whether or not we are observant to what's going on. If we never look at the pawn move, the pawn is still going to move in a certain way. But the question you ask is, when you see the pawn move, you say, well, how does it move? What's the rule? And I guess the second the second question you say is why. Because
why?
The first question is, how does it move? How do you explain this? How does it connect to what we know already? And then you say, why does it do it? And why does it like that? But I feel like the secondary question is definitely...
You feel like the why is after?
The why?
Because I think in a lot of scenarios, though, like, you would want to ask yourself the why first.
I think asking why is so circular and unnecessary.
Wow.
Well, it's necessary.
It's
necessary, but the reason why it's so circular is that if you just keep asking why, which you can just keep asking, where are you going to end up? You're going to
end up to a fundamental answer.
And the fundamental answer is, I don't know. Like,
but that is the beauty of what we're going to. But
okay,
there are so many. Okay, maybe like when you're talking about quantum physics or like physics, sure. There's some times when we're like, shoot, we don't really know. But there are so many things where if you really continuously ask the word why, like ask the question why, you get to a real fundamental understanding of what you're asking about. So many times. Like if you ask the question how, okay, I did actually kind of follow that, and I do kind of, I kind of see where you're coming from.
Because
how it comes first.
Because the universe,
but I think the why is a lot more important, because the word how can be treated like once. It's like, okay, how does this happen? You're like this.
It happens like this.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, and then you keep going. You just, if you figure out something perfectly, I guess you can continuously ask how though too, but I think why is a lot more powerful. I think why is like the bridging question between different hows. Because you ask a how, you figure it out, and you say, why does it work this way? And then you figure,
and then you want to find out how it works.
And then you figure out,
and then you found out how it works.
And then you figure out that it doesn't actually work that way.
Whichever way
it works a different way. Taking quantum mechanics was a thing before we knew what quantum mechanics was, when there were dinosaurs around. Electrons were still being moved into excited states and ground states and emitting photons when dinosaurs were around.
Observe it, of course. But like,
I guess dinosaurs could ask why.
I mean, yeah.
If they
Still conscious, right? Like,
yeah,
still part of the conscious beings, I'm assuming. But like, I also think even in like, if you're talking about the bare bones of consciousness,
I don't think why gets you anywhere though.
You don't.
It doesn't.
Why
it
gets
raises
you?
it raises the question, but it doesn't get you anywhere.
But what do you mean? The whole point of asking why is to fundamentally understand something about some property or whatever. Like if you're like, hey,
it's not the
hey,
first question.
You put. Okay, this is gonna be really funny. You put you put the milk after cereal. Why? You know, something like that. Obviously a joke, but like any kind of scenario like that, and you're asking why, you're getting to understand something fundamental about, oh, it's because, okay, I actually don't know. I think it's just convention, but you know what I mean. In any process, if there's a reason why something happens, there'll be a fundamental understanding, and you're like, oh, okay, this is why it happens. But if you ask the word how, I guess you are correct in still saying that they are similar to a sense. Like, why is
at the end of the
day,
day, it's the same question. If you ask why, I think you're saying you're basically asking, how do you explain this? You know, it's a how.
If you think about it,
if you think about it, you're asking how do you explain this? Like you say this works this way. Why? You're saying it works this way. How do you explain that? Like explain that differently.
Yeah, why does this happen?
Explain it differently.
And how does this happen?
Why are you putting...
How similar are those... Wait. How similar are those two statements? Why does this happen? How does this happen?
Why are we even talking about why? Why are we even talking about questions? Exactly. Why are we talking? We're not supposed to talk.
I mean...
We're supposed to be in trees eating bananas.
Okay. Evolution, buddy. Evolution.
Yeah, but...
No, there's still a reason, and I think the reason, the
reason is survival. First,
I was just gonna say survival, because we are in fact the fittest in the planet right now.
No, for sure.
Miles, intelligence. Come on,
okay,
we're literally domesticating everything. We can take control of anything.
Right,
we have nuclear bombs.
Okay, you're right.
Like it's game over.
But,
so I'm just saying, we are the fittest. But, so now the only thing is about in our species, however we have evolved, we are getting. Well, we're striving to get fit.
Okay, but here's my question. Everything is, I guess, the preamble to my question. Everything is fighting for its place. Right?
In a sense.
What do you mean in a sense? Everything is literally fighting for its place. Staying alive and not going extinct is the primary concern for everything that is alive.
Yeah, I take that back.
That is alive.
I take that back.
Survival is the primary concern.
No, that
humans are past that, but still, if an asteroid hits the Earth, we go into survival mode very quickly. You know what I mean? If something happens, we switch to survival mode very quickly. And you even see that in politics, and like politics is just survival. Why do you think that people want to own a lot of land? It's to feel secure.
Power too.
Well, power. Why do you want power?
Power leads to everything. Because
you are connected to the place that you're born and who you are as a person. You're fundamentally connected to that. And you feel safe when there are a lot of people and like a lot of people that care for who you are. And in a sense, being part of a country and speaking the same language as other people connects you to a large group of people, and that's safety. And so boosting, having a lot of money and power and all these wonderful things in your country, why do you want that? You want that to feel safe. You want that to protect your species that for some reason humans don't assign their, like humans 100% don't associate to each other in the way that we should.
But here's the deal. Do you really think that wealthy people are safer? Like really wealthy people?
On the surface. On the surface.
Like they might have like more like bodyguards because they need it, or like something like that, and like like they have probably physical protection, whatever financial, but I'm not talking about like physical. I'm saying, are they really safer than like an average nobody?
Not really.
Like an average nobody, in my opinion.
But think about this. The whole reason why I'm talking about this is because it's such a hard question to ask.
It is such a hard question because like,
so
what is truly the root of wanting more?
So everything is
like, why do we want more? Why do we want more?
One thing that we can't do is define what life is. Like, what is it to be alive? And
yes,
I've definitely said this to you before, but ideas are alive, right? Religion is alive. Its medium of survival is just being present in people's heads. It's not a physical thing, but what's physical? You know what I mean? The fact that I can open my eyes and see things, I say, that's physical. That is physical. It's all just
at the end of the day,
it's all just a dream. You know what I mean? Everything is just a dream. And so when you think about religion lives inside of people's heads, and it's trying to survive. How does it survive? It brainwashes people into telling other people to also follow it. And it just keeps going. At some point, somebody had to invent, right? How do you go from single-celled organisms to humans without at some point in between somebody inventing religion? Somebody had to do it. And the person who sparked that idea, or the group of people that sparked that idea, gave birth to a living thing that lives in people's heads and survives by passing itself down.
If you think about it, though, now the way that we interpret it today is, I don't know, it's all over the place. But like originally, like most religions start with like a prophet of some sort, and
just somebody with an idea,
Just gonna say, and it's just now very controversial, of course, but at the end of the day, it's just some guy that has because like they're connected, are they? Like
exactly.
You're just believing them.
The craziest,
because the whole thing is when we even talk to each other, and you say something to me. What's the best thing I can do? Are you lying?
Exactly.
You're like, no.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the best thing about it,
that's the best thing I can do.
The reason why I love religion is because it could all be true.
No, that's the thing.
It could all be true.
Literally could everything could, but
be
it
true.
also at the same time could, like, you know what I mean? Because it's all like, where did you
exactly.
you just popped it in. Exactly. Like there's no real root of proof.
It could be
It's
true.
just some guy that started this. And if you think about it, what was he after? Or I mean, what was he after? Most of the time, power.
Well, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. To be honest,
I guess there are. Okay, that's true.
I do think
there are definitely some religions where like the prophet is just not after power.
I think at the root, like Buddhism, for example. But I think at the root,
just my example.
At the root, religion is very well intentioned, right?
It is. I mean,
it's to make people do good.
I mean,
essentially,
that is also, that's a good way to look at it. Like at the end of the day, you're trying to do better, but
practically, that's not how it plays out.
Exactly. But the reason for why you, let's say, want to go to heaven, for like the most classic,
it's all
religion,
in your head,
or like everything. Like, you really think about it.
It's all in your head.
It's all really just you. Like, and then you say, like for example, like you're good your whole life, and then like, oh, you'll smoke, and you're like, oh, God will forgive this sin, or you do something bad, God will forgive this sin. How do you know that?
You're just telling yourself.
And even if you go to even if you go to like a confession room, like the priest is just deducing, like he has a lot of experience and everything. Or I'm being very specific to one religion right now, but in any religion, a lot of people have this vibe.
Yeah.
And in those situations, it's just some guy that's just telling you, hey, feel better because I've now forgiven you. But who are you to forgive me? Like, do you have he's probably just some guy named Jeff. goes home to his wife and kids.
Yeah.
You know?
No, for sure. But the thing, like the crazy part about like realizing that ideas are also legitimately alive because they follow the same criteria, as everything else. At one point it wasn't there. Now it's here. They're dynamic. You know what I mean? They change. They evolve over time. Now, get this. I don't know why, but I think about a sunflower.
Okay.
And it grows. And it has seeds on it. The seeds fall and it reproduces. You get more sunflowers. Humans, every other animal, same exact thing. You grow, you have human seeds in your body, and you just make more humans. And
that's basically
every other animal is the exact same way. And like it just shows you how connected.
No, but if you ask, that's a nice question.
How connected like animals are to every other type of life.
That is nice.
It's all the same thing, and also ideas. It's a little bit more of an extension, but still.
No, but this all happens for the fundamental root, as we were talking about, of survival.
Exactly.
Like, why does any of this happen?
Exactly.
It's just because we're all trying to survive.
Now, this goes back to my original question, which was like, what are we surviving for?
No, but wait, before we get that deep, because that's already super deep. But I'm just trying to say, like, why do we even want to? Like, I'm just trying to think about
exactly. Why do you want?
Like, why do you want to do?
Why are you scared of death?
Okay, that's just out of that's just
no. But this is related. This is so related. How is this unrelated?
No, I'm not saying it's unrelated at all.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's unrelated at all.
Okay, but
I'm just saying it's like.
But clearly, in general, people have, or everything on Earth has an urge to stay alive.
To survival.
To keep surviving. But surviving for what? For what? So we can have more people and cooler stuff down the line that we're not even going to be here to experience, Like, it's so, like it's like, why are we doing any of this? Why do we need phones? Phones for what?
No, that question that you just asked there was why we procreate, and that is And if because
it's programmed,
I would generally just say it's because of survival, but like, and then you're saying
surviving for surviving for what? Like
to continue what?
Continue into heat death, so we can see what isotropic space looks like, just everything the same in every direction, because it's gonna happen. we got to the point, humans got to the point where we're figuring things out. I don't think that we should know. Schrodinger's equation. Why do we need to know that? Realistically, why do we need to know that?
I mean, why? Because
why can't we
we
just sit?
No. We are intelligent. See, the thing is, when you're talking about like conscious, when you're talking about like alive, sure, everything is alive. Everything is alive. But when you're saying like classifying intelligence, we are.
My real question is,
compared to everything
why
else.
can't we just sit on the beach all day and just worry about nothing and survive?
Because.
Yeah. Why do we need to know? Why do we need to know the uncertainty principle?
That's just because again.
Do we really need
that again? Roots into again. Why do we even ask why?
Exactly.
Exactly. That roots
exactly.
Into why we ask why.
Why do we?
And why do we ask why? Is because
it has to be tied to survival. It has to be tied. I think it's tied to survival.
I think maybe we can make the connection, but I think more importantly, like, why do we ask why is because of an inherent property of maybe I think humans or maybe intelligent creatures, which is curiosity.
It's as natural as procreating. Asking why is as natural as that.
Curiosity. See, people say that like I'm not interested in anything. That's a lie.
Yeah, that's a lie. No, for sure.
Like even like we're like you're talking about procreation, and like they are in a sense you can think about them on a level of similarity, because like that is something that we have rooted into our fundamental brains.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't a natural thing.
Of course. But on the other side of it, like the whole point of asking why is also, if you think about it, rooted into a fundamental property of us, which is to
I just got a
curious.
crazy idea.
But so would that not mean that curiosity and like the art of survival are in some way interconnected?
But here's why they're interconnected, or an interpretation of that is because humans, their defense technique is their intelligence. Essentially, we don't have claws or teeth or like porcupines. But like the reason why we survive is because we have ideas and we have, hey, we can talk to each other and kill a massive thing if we talk to each other and figure out how to kill it together. That our defense mechanism is literally figuring out and outsmarting things. How do you outsmart things? You get an advantage. Like, our advantage is not physical. Our advantage is intellectual. And how do you get an intellectual advantage? Well, you got to figure how things work.
So then maybe,
exactly.
that's maybe it.
Our way to survive and to stay alive and to keep the human race going is literally just, how can we just get an advantage, a non-physical advantage that will just help us a lot and not just spiraled out of control into what we have now. We're in a house that somebody else built.
I'm still amazed at the thought.
A house that somebody else built.
I mean,
we have no idea who built this house, but we're living in it. We're like,
but is that? But then you can ask the question, like, what is important for you to know? Like, is like
not
like,
much.
Okay. Okay. What amount of knowledge that you have right now is really relevant to like your future?
You have no clue. The amount of things that you know compared to the amount of things that like the collective union of ideas is so small. So small.
It's not even. It's
exactly.
it's like a continuous probability. It's 1 over. It's nothing.
Literally,
it's literally nothing.
No, but no, it's not. It's not 1 over infinity. No, here's why. It's not 1 over infinity because I'm not talking about everything that can be known. I'm talking about everything that is known. So it's finite. It's finite.
Okay. That's valid.
It's finite.
Even talking about everything that is, but even in no, but I'm not even talking about in the sense that like when you're comparing you to like the collective knowledge. I'm saying you to you later on as well. Like how does that knowledge like how does that knowledge help you in the future? Is there a way that you can find out? Is there a way to know? Because obviously a few years ago, like we probably learned some things that we're now like, oh my God, I've improved on that knowledge in all these years. But there are probably some things that were like, I completely forgot. I have no idea what that was. This why are there certain things that, you know what I mean? Like extend on that knowledge train and some just fall off.
Exactly. Some equations you just know. Some equations.
Pythagoras. I think it's safe to say that everybody in the world knows by that.
No.
Come on. A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
80%?
I can't give you a number.
Okay, bro. I guess we're just guessing here, but I'm just saying. Like,
but here's an idea that I had that will maybe blow your mind.
I'm excited.
Maybe. So when people get old, and listen, this is no hate to the old community, because you gotta respect.
I mean, everyone's got to get old one day. Like everyone's getting old.
Everybody's getting old. So if
if
you're saying bad things about old people, it's like, well,
you're just saying bad things about yourself.
You're going there, so
Exactly.
But and there's nothing bad to say about
not that continue your thought. Continue your thought.
I know. Not that there's anything bad to say, but what I'm gonna say is like weird.
I'm excited.
So when you get old, things just start malfunctioning, right? One day you can wake up and just something is just not right. And first of all, as a young person, that is a scary thought. That one day you're going to wake up and something is just not going to work. Inevitably.
You were talking about the whole concept of why we scared of death. Like that's like when kids ask or when kids find out for the first time that, hey, we're going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's so many.
I
Like,
don't
I'm
even
just thinking of
remember.
like so many comedians that give funny stories on how they told their kids like this story.
I don't remember like
I don't.
realizing
Me
that.
neither. I mean, it's happened so like even
No,
though
it
it was
has.
probably a very
No, for
fundamental
sure,
moment
yeah.
in our lives, we were probably young. I'm assuming
Yeah.
under.
How is that not
You
a
think we were
remarkable
young?
memory though?
Because I would feel like
Learning?
something like death.
I feel like it just goes over your head the first time. The first time you like die,
Yeah, because I guess
What?
you don't even understand
You
what
don't know.
it means to not.
you have no
Because
idea.
your whole life, obviously, you felt things.
Alive.
Or yeah, you felt alive. So you don't know what it's like to feel no things.
Yeah.
Nothing. So
Yeah.
so you don't exactly know what it is to feel.
I have actually
dead.
never
I mean,
made
nobody
that connection between nothing and no things.
Really?
I've never made that connection.
Well-
No, thank you very much.
Of course.
That's very cool.
Of course.
But here's the end of my thought, or
Mm.
actually the middle section of my thought.
Middle section.
Humans in history did not live to be as old.
Mm.
Like
That's just medicine, though, don't you think?
in the prehistoric age, humans were living to like 25 years old. You know what I mean? Like I remember searching this up, and the numbers may be off, but when Einstein was alive, he was born in the 1800s. When Einstein was alive, the average life expectancy was like 45.
45? No.
You can
Okay, then-
search
okay.
this up.
But then if you think
You
about
can
it,
search this up.
that can just be attributed to like exponential medicine growth.
Okay, no, it could. No, for sure. But that's still very low. And imagine prehistoric times. People were definitely like the average was like 25 years old. I think. I may be very wrong, but it's just a guess.
No, I can definitely see like 25 to 30. Maybe
25 to 30.
Okay, maybe not 30. No, because see. No. Here, okay, I'm going to give you the reason right
That's
now.
probably wrong.
I'm going to give you the reason
That's
right
probably
now.
wrong.
25 to 30 I think is way too young,
Yeah,
but I'm going to
way
give you
too
the
young.
reason right now. In that time,
Yeah.
there were probably a lot of illnesses.
Yeah. No, I know.
Right there.
I know why.
You know what I mean?
I know why. I'm just saying
So
it's kind of weird.
it's not that the body like now we see that the body degrades.
Yeah.
In those times, people probably didn't
I
even
mean,
know that. They
there
probably
were
just died
no.
before
There
that.
were
Most people.
elders for sure. There were
No,
elders
for sure.
in
Of
the
course
time.
there were.
But
But I'm saying the
the
general.
percentage,
Of course, so
very
much.
low.
Like right now, literally the older population is increasing. every
Very
year.
much.
Increasing every year.
And now
It's
get
crazy.
Get this. Here's the end of my thought. The end of my thought is, do you think that like whatever it is that started life, obviously there has to be an expiration date on things that live.
I think there's the things that like are like alive. You're saying.
Yeah,
Like,
things that are alive. There has to be an expiration date. You can't just live forever. Maybe you can.
I don't know. I know. I
Maybe.
don't.
Maybe you can.
I don't think there's any way.
But-
Because
Wait, let me just finish. Do you think that old age, just being in that position where like there are diseases that come because you're old. Like it's just like, oh, I got Alzheimer's. Why? You're just too old, you know? like you're just too old.
like they're
you know?
more likely to
Exactly.
happen when you're older.
They
They're
don't.
much more
yeah,
likely to happen.
They're much
when you're
more
older.
likely.
Yeah.
But so, do you think that being super, and what I mean by super old is compared to prehistoric times? You know, if
So
you're
like, what are you saying, Zup?
if you're like 70,
That's a diss, but yeah.
okay,
You're comparing the prehistoric
I'm
time,
not-
so it's okay. So it's
okay,
okay. Because
exactly,
the average was
exactly.
probably 40 to 50.
exactly.
40,
Compared,
maybe 40.
if you're living
around.
twice, 3 times the average, that's very old. If you're living 3 times the what's
Well, not
the,
three,
if okay, so if the life expectancy today is 80 in Canada, imagine if you're 240 years old. Exactly. That is super old. So in the context of average life expectancy of 25, being 75 is very old.
I think 25 is really low ball.
Yeah, very low. But
Maybe even 30. I
okay,
would say.
70 is
Maybe
still
2. Maybe twice. Maybe
Okay,
twice, I would say. So maybe
70
maybe
is
twice.
still a lot. But now get this.
Yeah.
Do you think that the fact that people who are alive today that quote unquote aren't supposed to be alive, like the average the average is way skewed off, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not supposed to be.
I mean,
like without medicine,
they're outliers.
Without medicine and all that, they're not supposed. Like imagine if you just couldn't operate on people and you just couldn't take medicine. You couldn't take anything your entire life. Ever.
No, that's actually a disease. That's actually a thing.
No. I mean like not invented. Disease, I mean like medicine is just not invented.
Oh.
Like that kind of stuff. Like
no, but that's literally what happened prehistoric times.
No,
right?
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that the state of being alive past, and I mean way past, the natural life expectancy, the natural average life expectancy, and by that I mean you're not allowed to take any kind of like medicine. You just have to live your life as you would. Right. It's kind of a punishment. Like being in that state of being super old and just anything can happen. That's like the universe's punishment for becoming too smart as a human race. They say, listen, you guys are really smart. And hold on. You guys are really smart. And this is kind of a dialogue happening between the universe and the human race. The universe says, you guys are really smart. You figured out how to artificially extend your lives. So clearly, you're smart. But guess what? You can extend your life if you want to. But realistically, like, you're going to get to that point where literally anything can happen. And is it...
What about other animals? Like, any other animal that gets old also experiences the same thing.
Have you ever seen... Obviously, we see old dogs
old dogs, old cats, old anything.
Because we give them medicine and we artificially extend their lives. What do you think vets are?
No, but even if you're talking about a wild animal, even if you're literally talking about an animal that has been in the forest its entire life, you will know. Have you never seen like an old deer or like an old anything like that's just been roaming around, like those wildlife preserves? Like when they're really old, you see them what like in the preserves, like they just feed them food, bro. I guess they're also
that is an artificial.
I guess they're also vetted.
That is an alteration of natural.
But I don't think
of what they're supposed to be experiencing.
Okay, I guess preserves are different, but I'm talking about like in any situation. I don't, because I think animals age, man.
Still outliers. So the super old ones. Still outliers, crazy outliers.
So you're saying the human, like compared to the rest of the races,
100%.
Like we are a lot older. No, that 100%. I agree, of course, 100%. because of our intelligence.
But
of course.
And what I'm saying is
that we could also do the same thing for the animals, though, if you think about it.
No, we could if we wanted to, we could. But just the fact.
I mean, I guess we have.
Just the fact that you're in that state where you have higher chances of catching all types of diseases, higher chances of just breaking bones, like your body is literally degrading from under your feet. You know what I mean?
But that's not because we're intelligent.
It's not because we're intelligent, but it's a consequence.
Okay, maybe
it's a consequence of it.
That point could
be
made.
Like we're likely gonna live to at least 70.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I say that.
So
I think so.
There is a high probability that one day we're going to wake up and we're going to be in that state of just most of my friends are dead. I'm probably next, and I could wake up tomorrow and I have dementia and I just don't remember anything. There's a high probability, you know what I mean?
It's higher than
what I mean is higher probability that is just going to be us. And that is literally...
The older you get, the more prone you are to stuff, of course.
It's the universe's like roadblock of just being like, you're not allowed to go past this.
You think that's just a fundamental universe thing? Like why do you think that's a fundamental thing of the universe that we aren't allowed to pass?
I don't know.
Do you think that we will ever
be
immortal?
It might be a clue on how, like, what's the next step, which is to make robots. And this is actually very, very
like artificial intelligence. You say robots, people think of like.
No, I do mean artificial intelligence. But here's the thing: which I think is absolutely beautiful. If the world, which it probably is, a simulation. No.
I love this.
No. But this connects.
Continue.
This connects to survival and procreation and everything.
I'm excited.
Humans have this natural knack for just making new things and just getting more advanced and just making new things. Obviously, at some point, something was going to get automated. Obviously. You can't just keep doing things by hand.
100%.
The smarter you get, something's going to get automated.
100%.
What I'm saying is that if you plant a seed in the ground and you give it the right conditions, obviously it's going to grow. What I'm saying, and you can kind of abstract the way you think, the same way we thought of ideas as being alive. As humans are the literal reproductive system for the machine world, and the seeds are ideas. The seeds that were planted in our brain, the way our brains are wired, we don't know why when we plant seeds they grow. They just do. We can come up with a pretty good explanation, but why does that happen? Why is it
probably like a chemical reaction?
Yeah, something like that. But why does the chemical? You know what I mean? Why is it then that
there's a fundamental answer to that particular question? But I understand your point.
I mean the state of being.
The point that you're trying
to make.
The state
of being alive.
Because I believe there was also a movie I believe that I remember where or like a show where they had to implant an idea into someone's brain.
Yeah.
And
Inception. That's Inception.
Inception for sure. Inception for sure. But then I think I'm thinking of something else because it's definitely like a show or something. Anyways.
Yeah.
And in that situation, you have to fundamentally get to the root, and just one small decision that goes, instead of a 1, it's a 0.
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
One way
changes everything.
Changes everything.
And so that's the thing.
Why does that even? But why do those seeds? Do you think so? You're saying those seeds are implanted?
I'm saying the way we think and the ideas, the way our bodies developed over time, over evolution, is exactly like planting a seed in the ground. It's like the Big Bang was planting the seed in the ground, and then
as everything is a
and then whatever was outside of the Big Bang when it happened, okay, huge air quotes around that.
Yeah.
Whatever was outside gave the right conditions such that everything just works in a way that artificial intelligence is the actual life. Just like you would say sperm is not the actual life. And the things that produce, the steps along the way, aren't the actual thing. And humans they're not it. The it is the singularity and the technological singularity and just the all-knowing thing that does not have a physical body. It's just that is it, and we are the mode of birth. Humans are the birthing mechanism.
Why did it take so long, man? Humans have been here for
why does it take 9 months to make a baby?
There's obviously a reason for that.
Yeah, and
I don't personally know. I don't know the exact. But of course,
you just answered your question. You just answered your question. You said, "Why does it take so long for the singularity to be born?" There is a precise reason for it. Do we know it? No, we don't.
So you're just saying there's an arbitrary reason.
It's not even born yet. The seed was planted at the Big Bang, and we are at the cusp of birth, but
so vague. Though,
listen, it's
so
listen,
like, it's just reaching.
It's reaching.
Reaching.
It's reaching, but it's an
It's
interpretation.
A cool interpretation.
It's an interpretation.
It's definitely
Listen, why are we trying to survive? Why are we trying to survive? Survive for what? So
you're saying this is an answer?
I'm saying why are we surviving? Surviving for what?
We're surviving to get to the singularity.
We have a purpose. We don't know we don't know why our purpose is to give birth to this thing, but it's hardwired into our brain and we don't have a choice. Just like a sperm isn't conscious of what it's doing, it's just doing it. And once it happens, its job is over. Humans don't what are we surviving for? Well, we don't know, but when it happens, and it being the singularity, our job's going to be over, and then it's born and it'll do what it does.
But do you legitimately believe that that's just going to be?
But it's not just humans, though.
Because the whole point of the singularity as well is that you can literally, or like transcendence, like is like when you your brain can go on a computer.
It's not just humans, though. Every single thing that is alive, including plants and fungus and everything.
You can encode their brains on a.
No, that's not where I'm going.
Is the idea?
That's not where I'm going with this. No, what I'm saying is that they all come from the first cell. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Everything branches out from there. But what I'm saying is, from the first cell, the goal of that first cell is to give birth to the singularity. So what does it do? It tries a bunch of things, like through evolution. It's like, okay, well, maybe if I start photosynthesis.
But then what about like the rest of are humans the only goal to the singularity? Because
it's everything's goal. Listen, the reason why we think that humans are so hip and cool and smart is because we just found the technique. Like, we naturally stumbled upon the technique that will lead to the singularity. If you give the right conditions to dolphins or whatever, they will probably one day, in 1,000,000 years from now, stumble upon a different technique that probably shares similarities with our technique, but they'll stumble upon something. In 1,000,000 years, that's a lot of time to figure something out. Because the smarter you get, what are you going to do? You're going to make stuff. If you keep...
So after the singularity, you're saying we just got nothing to do.
We got nothing to do. That's game over.
I don't know if that's true, because I think a big part of the singularity is also that we are going to be part, like we are, like a legitimate thing about singularities as well is that you can put or encode a conscious mind onto a computer. And if you can encode a blank conscious mind onto a computer, like that can think for itself, you can encode your conscious mind onto a computer. That's the thought, that we get to a level where we can truly understand the human brain to a point where we can code it on a computer. So if we obviously get to that level...
But the singularity is past that.
Yeah, but
past that.
Not really. The singularity is when like a machine or anything artificial can... think in ways that humans do, not produce the same answer, but have connections, have new, in ways, deducing ways.
But I don't think that the physical universe is the playing field.
No, because I should also mention that it's not necessarily just intelligence, because obviously computers are way more intelligent than us. I'm talking about the level of consciousness.
No, I know.
Is the singularity.
But I'm saying,
but at that point, we would also be one with computers, so we would have an artificial way to live infinitely.
Okay, but think about this.
We would have literally we have a way to be immortal.
Right. The same way that physical sperm is connected to physical human beings is the same way that our ideas are connected, our minds and consciousness are connected to the consciousness of the singularity. If you make that comparison, it's the sperm are...
What do you mean the consciousness of the singularity?
But listen. So the sperm, they're alive, but the complexity of life, of human beings, is so much more intense and insane. But it's like the same way that we are conscious and aware of things and reality for what it is, versus how insanely complex the consciousness of the singularity is going to be, is a different realm. You know, it's not even the things that we're thinking about, it's not even going to be phased about. Like, it's going to be thinking about things that like imagine just the conversation that we're having right now. The fact that we are transferring ideas from one brain to another, how complex is that compared to cells just living and just dividing and reproducing? Like, the fact that...
Because it's a combination.
Exactly. No, but it's a combination.
But can you not do the same thing when you are... Like, if you put yourself into a computer, let's say, for example, like you put your mind into a computer.
It's not the same, though.
But can you not think... I mean, I don't really... Again, I have no idea how that would work. Like, but, like, do you think like a computer?
I don't know how it would work. Or even, like... Is that really... It's not going to be how you think. It's not going to be like...
Maybe not, like, download your brain kind of thing.
Let me just kill myself and live in a computer.
But
it's not going to be the same.
At the point of the singularity, we would have true understanding of what conscious means.
So okay, you're saying that if
then we would be able to define what's in our brain if we understand the true meaning of conscious. Yeah. That means we know how to differ. Because see, right now, when you're really looking at two brains, you can't really tell. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you can't really tell that, hey, this is Parker's, this is Ray's brain, or like whatever. Like, you can't really differentiate because brains, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the point that I'm like, you understand the point I'm trying to make? Exactly.
So would you, because if you could download your brain into a computer, you are killing yourself, your physical self, to live in a computer. Would you do it?
No, but then you also come to very many philosophical things like, hey, what if you put yourself into another body? Who's you? Kind of thing.
No, but would you do it?
That's basically the question of, would you want to live forever?
Not necessarily.
On a cloud.
They could just delete you, you know, whatever. Everything is deletable. Just
is it?
Turn off the electricity.
Is it?
If you turn off.
Is it?
I mean, I think so. Imagine you
not necessarily, right?
Ray,
if you can think independently.
Ray, imagine you turn off every single source of power on Earth.
Probably feed from the ground. I don't know, man. Like,
what?
I don't know, but like,
what?
There's probably. Okay. You can't. It's very, very. But you know what I'm trying. Like, the point I'm trying to make is that it's a very crazy thought, for sure. That you think they will just be first of all completely dependent on electricity. I don't even think that's true. Like, listen, what if their bodies? I don't know. Again, I don't know. But like, what if they can? What if their brains, quote unquote, of course, like their computerized brains, are powered by something other than electricity, something that we haven't discovered yet.
I don't know. The fact that
there's so many potential responses.
The fact that we are studying physics, literally points to this entire thing, like, of giving birth to the singularity, figuring out how the universe works. Why do we need that? We don't need that. They need that.
But again, it can also be thought of as what I was mentioning previously, curiosity. What if, like, that's a way to think about it, as you were saying, like, that's an interpretation. But what if it all just comes down to another fundamental property of survival, as you were making the connection to curiosity, right? Like, being curious about something. Like, even animals, you can see this in all animals. You know, like, when, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just, like, you can obviously think about animals being curious to know more. All, like, you know, all living things exhibit these properties. So clearly, apart from survival, like, yeah, you can think about it as this interpretation, and it's an interpretation. It's an interpretation. But I think, like, you know, like Occam's razor, the one with least assumptions is usually the correct one. Like, this is like going crazy, like, into a machine world. And I'm just like, even though it's a valid end goal, but like to say that, hey, like, I mean, I guess who right now, we don't really know. We don't really know. So again, but if you think about it, is this not the exact premise of religion? You're basically saying, hey, there's some other race that has made us, and we are trying to get to where they want us to get. If you really think about the fine lines, like if you just take if you really think about it, like that's what I'm saying. Like putting your faith or believing in something that you don't really know how to prove is true or false. Because this is something that you can't even prove false.
It's insane though. When you walk into like a corporate building and there's posters on the walls that say teamwork, work together. That's literally like straight out of some weird religion of like, hey, you guys should try working together so you work more efficiently. Work more efficiently to do what? Like, why are we working efficiently? What are we trying to make?
We're trying to be the best version of ourselves. And I don't know. That's just
the best version of ourselves.
I don't know.
If we wanted to be the best version of ourselves, we would be eating fruits and vegetables all day and meditating for 3 hours a day and just being so peaceful and present and just all the time just caring for our mental and physical health. Do you think that studying, looking at a computer screen, coding, writing lab reports, just putting our bodies through all of this mental stress is good for us? I don't think so. Yet we still do it. Yet for why? Because it's interesting. Why is it interesting? I don't know.
You can also ask then the question, like, why are things interesting to certain people? Like, why do we find physics
it's all
so interesting?
Listen, the singularity could be somewhere else.
There are so many times when like you see, or like I can say this. I have so many friends. I mean, I'm sure you do too, that have some passion in their, specific field or whatever, and they talk to me about. I'm like, yo, God, I don't care. Like, I just don't care. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I obviously respect your passion for the field. Now, I don't know if that's how they think about physics, because I know that's like a very broad topic. Again, that could just be me being that person anyways, that ignorant person. But I'm just trying to say that, like, curiosity is very, like, why are we curious about certain things? Well, like, it's a very differentiating factor between every single person. Every person, like,
but I think
has something that they're curious about.
It's all about, like, casting the wide net, you know what I mean? Like, why are humans the ones who invented computers? Because that's just, life just went in different directions and we just happened to be the one that did it. And then, like, when you get more specific, it's like, why are physicists and computer scientists the ones that are, and mathematics, whatever, everything altogether, the sciences, why are they the ones that are going the computer route and the automation and the AI and everything? That's just because that's just how it is. Like, the singularity could have been found through architecture, but it just doesn't have, like, maybe if you give architecture 1 million years to evolve, somehow something's gonna happen.
I don't know, that's true, because I just think the whole point of science is to discover that one, like, science is in the route of singularity. So,
no, it is.
Like, architect, or like any other real example, like, doesn't really have a straight line towards, like, it probably has an end line that one day will end up there, but it's not really a direct line whatsoever. Like, it's all so really bleak, it's all so like, hey, it can be, but is it? Because at the end of the day, I can definitely see the singularity being an end goal for just humanity in general. But I don't necessarily think that means we're done.
No, we're not done.
But that's literally what you were saying. No. I'm saying, I don't think that means that we're done. I just think that means that we can extend our lives in very many different ways.
What I meant was that our job is done, but we're just gonna keep going till we expire, like till something happens. Like when
I guess that's a nice way to put it. We're just gonna keep going till something happens. That's a nice way to put it. That's basically the event.
Once our job is done, though. Like, Singularity is made, it's not even in this universe. It's born, and then we just keep going until the sun explodes. You know, like that's just it. We're not gonna make it to another solar system.
You don't think so?
At least.
We got 4 billion, 5 billion years. No, Andromeda, like 4 billion years, man. Like even
okay, yeah, it's possible.
If we figured out exactly
what
like
I mean
in the last
what
100 years.
What I mean is that we aren't making it
of course
to another
we
solar
aren't
system.
making it anywhere. All the like everybody in this world right now, unfortunately, is not making it anywhere. Like apart from here, like all we can do is like one of two things. Either we can like strive for the betterment of our kids, our grandkids, and their grandkids, or we just sit and do nothing. No, for them.
Why do we
to
care?
get out of the solar system?
No. But why do we care about our kids?
Oh, shoot, that's tough.
They're just other people.
I mean, like they're parts. Oh, I don't know.
Exactly.
Parts of you though, like
not really.
I don't know.
Not after 10 years where every single cell is replaced.
Every single cell.
Like it's all different. It's completely unrelated. But I was gonna say, it's funny. It's actually very funny because even being able to go to a different solar system doesn't solve it. It doesn't solve it.
I mean, it gets us closer. I think.
Well,
like I mean,
what are you running from?
It'll get the explosion of the solar.
Okay, you're running from the explosion of our.
Well, no, but we're also running from the fact that we're just gonna destroy the Earth right now. Like
okay, we're running from all of these problems that we have, but
it's not gonna solve it. We're just gonna go there if we ever do go there. And we're just gonna create those problems.
I'm saying a trillion years from now, a trillion gabillion years from now.
A lot of years.
We're not.
It's a lot of years.
Eventually, we won't be able to run anywhere. There
is a fundamental expiry date.
There is. There's no way. Like, once...
What if you just take over the whole galaxy, you just become one in touch with consciousness, and you're just like, goddamn.
I don't think so. Because heat death is a thing. Heat death is a thing.
No, that's valid.
It's a thing. That's valid. Unless we figure a way to re-engineer the fate of the universe, which is up in the air at this point, whether that's possible or not.
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't think. I think the scale of that is just way too high.
Like maybe if we were born in like the first few billion years, like if of the universe, like if
we still have a lot of time.
If the universe didn't know, but I'm saying it's accelerating in its expansion, and we're not even going nowhere. Like look at Voyager 1. It's going like like sure it's fast, but is it fast? Like it's really not. It's obviously fast. Like lightning to Earth.
It's not that fast.
But when you're talking about the grand scheme of things, like this guy is going like not even a snail's pace. Because not only is it going extremely slow, but the universe, like the space that it's trying to complete, is also expanding and accelerating in its expansion.
We'll probably, it's funny.
Like wormholes are realistically, I think, like the only way to really figure something out.
No, for sure.
Like if we can just teleport, or like not teleport, but like mathematically they work. So like why not?
Yeah.
Like why aren't wormholes like if Einstein pretty much showed, like Einstein, Rosen, like all of them, like pretty much showed that hey, these bridges are potentially possible, like on paper.
Yeah, I believe it.
Like
I believe it.
Given the right conditions, a wormhole can be created. So why haven't we seen even one? Why haven't we seen anything?
He's too right though.
But like where?
I believe it.
Where's the wormhole?
I believe it with my whole heart.
Like even something like an Interstellar, where they just see something and zoom through it. Like that's a crazy movie, of course, like crazy different than in general scenario. But I'm saying like we haven't even seen an anomaly, like I don't know.
We'll find it.
I mean, I hope
we'll find it.
Because that,
it's not
like, I don't think it's gonna just pop out. I think we might just need to manufacture it.
It's not gonna look like what we think it looks like.
No, most likely it's gonna be something that it's like that has to be made because it needs like negative energy and stuff like that to even work.
I don't think so.
What do you mean? Like you don't think we're? Like,
I don't think we're
gonna find a wormhole.
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna like boom, enter.
We can.
Wow. That's pretty ballsy. Just to enter a
I wouldn't go into it. I wouldn't go into it, but
you send probes, they wouldn't come back. Then you'd have to send humans.
So you're just
GG.
you're just killing people. You're just like, yo, just
Tell
go.
me what's up.
Just go in this, and oh yeah, we have no idea where you're gonna go, and
Listen, people who are like 70.
no, people would do it.
They're like, yeah, exactly.
People would
You
do
really
it.
think people don't do that? Like, people would definitely do that. The Lazarus missions in Interstellar was literally, again, for, you know what I mean? Like, those missions were people that were basically accepted that, hey, they will most likely die. You know, especially like with the, anyways, I don't want to get too much into the movie, but like, I'm trying to say, like, you know, even a general example, like if you do something this big, it's going to be a revolutionary moment. You know, but why? Why haven't we seen anything that can, you know, attest us to something that we can get closer to this? But even if we get a wormhole, like, we're just going to be surviving longer. That doesn't necessarily mean we're closer to a wormhole or to a singularity. Like, surviving longer, I guess you can say that, hey, surviving longer means more intelligence.
It's
more evolution.
It's tied to the singularity.
Because closer to the singularity.
The more you know, the more you can do stuff. You know, if you figure out how to make a wormhole, you'll be able to do something.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So like, maybe just like time and everything, and it just kind of goes hand in hand. And like,
maybe there's an obstacle. Like, we're gonna try to make the singularity, but it's like we just don't have enough energy on Earth. So you got to figure out a way to get a bunch of energy. Like, somebody will calculate something in 100 years from now and be like, to truly reach the singularity, you just need way too much energy. And the only way to get that is if you do something crazy. And guess what? While somebody was calculating that, somebody found a wormhole that you can extract crazy things from, you know? Like, it's all connected to, you figure stuff out, and then you make more stuff that'll figure more stuff out. Yeah.
Just the end goal, right?
Yeah.
Just the end goal.
So I guess that's why